Hello everyone, good morning and welcome to my class. My name is Nana Alice Carter with a brand name Nelly Menindere. Now, we are almost done. Okay, we are on to the final stage now. We are through with the beading. Okay, so this is how it's going to look like. Okay, now don't mind me. This extra allowance are for, I'm going to use them. I'll be using them. I'll be needing them for inside because for application of comb to hold on to the support. There's one thing I call support. Okay, I'm going to put in the cap. I need this. I actually put an extra allowance. Extra. That's what I mean by extra. That is the allowance will be up to 2 inches. Okay, this is from here to here. It's 2 inches. Because I'm going to put this inside. Either I use my Mako. This is what we call Mako. Okay, you can get there from where they sell shoemaking materials. Shoemaking. I use what we call fiber board. Is that taken? Fiber board. Now, this one is for inside as well, so the downside for in case I want for the lining to hold down the lining. Of course, someone would have asked, must it be much? Of course, you might trim yours and make it 1 inch. It's not a must. You use it to make use of 2 inches. Is that taken? You can stop at 1 inch, but let it not be less than 1 inch. Is that taken? Okay. But I don't advise 1 inch. I'll prefer you make it 1.5, please, or 1/4. Please don't use 1 inch. Should in case there's a problem in the capping method, please, I beg you. Now, let me tell you how, when you're done with the beading, when you're through with your beading, see what you're going to do. Take your tape rule. I'm going to measure. Remember the head circumference I'm using for this. My client is 24. Now, it depends on the head circumference of your client. Somebody might have asked, "Ma, are we going to bead straight?" Nice. If I should cut a longer fabric, am I going to finish beading the fabric? No. Remember our measurements from the beginning. I said, if your client's head is 24, add extra 3 inches. Because when you're done with the beading, there's going to be a reduction, a little bit if you are using support, that is collar stay or gum stay, but it's going to shrink much if you're not using any support, that is, you're not attaching anything to the fabric. Is that taken? So now, even though you cut 24 and add 3 inches, making it 27, please don't beat the whole 27. Remember, 3 inches are for the allowance. They are for the allowance. So stop your beading at 24. Now, should in case you fold and sew, okay, I'm going to show you how to do this next step now. Should in case you fold and sew, if there is a need after turning, there is an extra space that you need to bead after you have joined together and sew, please go ahead and cover with bead. Go ahead and finish the beading. Is that taken? Now, let's continue. To take my measurement back, when you're done beading, you're going to take your measurement. How am I going to take it? Let me use it this way. My head, the head circumference of my client, see where I'm placing it, please. Okay, so that it will give me an accurate measurement. Is that taken? It's 24. Can you see? I hope you're seeing the distance there. 24. Now, this is 24. This is 24 here. I'm not going to stop here. No. I will put an extra 1 inch, making 25. All these inches I'm adding, please take note. All the inches I'm adding, take note. When you are cutting, you add inches. When you are done beading and you want to form a cap with the beaded fabric, you are going to add an inch. If your client's head is 19 inches, add an inch before you make a cap. If your client's head is 22 inches, add an inch before you make the cap. If your client's head is 25 inches, this I've made the cap for a client that has big head. That is the largest size, 25. Add an inch. Do you know the reason why we are adding inches? We are adding an inch. We are adding an inch to the cape because if we are to put if you want to put fiber board inside, it's going to take that in that extra 1 inch, this fiber board needs space for it to enter the cap. Are you getting me? The same thing applies to your Mako. But in the case of Mako has different sizes. If your Mako is the thickest, I've seen some caps that are very thick, especially the ones you use for traditional rollers. Please, you're going to add more than 1 inch. Like for example, this is 24 inches to my client's head. I'm going to add 2 inches to it, or 2.5 inches, making 26.5. That is if your Mako is thick, that has inches. For example, maybe like 4 inches Mako. But this one is just 1/2 inch. This one is the tiniest. This one is very, very soft. Okay, it's the tiniest. I even double it to make for my clients. Is that taken? Then also too, the third one, if you are using sewing method, I have a class on sewing method if you want it. If you are using sewing method to achieve this, instead of adding I forgot to tell you, sorry please, instead of adding Mako and fiber board, you want to use sewing method. I forgot to tell you this, I forgot to mention this, please. In making of caps, we have 2 methods. We have 2 methods. Number 1, we use gum method. It's gum method I'm going to use for this cap. Number 2, we use sewing method. I'm not using sewing method for this. Okay, I'm using gum method. Listen, all these things I'm teaching you is worth more than the money you paid for. We all know that. So if you want class for that, it's available. It's just for a token as well too. How to make cap using sewing method. Well, but that's my own idea. I brought out the idea, okay, of using the same Mako or fiber board, but instead of using gum, I use sewing. That's you sew it. I can attach my fiber board. I can also attach my Mako, but I'll use gum for it. Is that taken? Good. So let's continue. I'm having 20. What do I get? What did I get? I have 25. Okay, 26. 26. 26. Oh, 26. I'm going to cut out. I only need this thing. I need 25, right? We need 20. I said I'm going to 25. Okay, this is 25. Is that taken? This is 25. You stop at 25. Oh, let me start here. Sorry. See where I start? I'm starting my tape. Okay, this is the beginning. Don't mind this. This is the beginning. Okay, this is where the inch starts. So this is where 25 ends. This is where 25 ends. This is where 25 ends. Remember I said I will need 25. I need 25. Okay, 1 extra inches for support, attaching my Mako distance. Then this one that is remaining here, okay, is what we call the allowance. It's what we call the allowance. So after measurement, if your allowance is now big, reduce it. Because of course, if you don't want excess, is that taking? We don't want big allowance. Also, to look at my own allowance, look at the allowance for here too. This is allowance. Is that taking this small space here? Is the allowance. That is from here to here. It's my allowance. So see what I'm going to do now. I'm going to sew them together. Make sure. Okay. I'll take it to the sewing machine and sew them together. Some of you ask, what about if I don't have sewing machine? No problem. Use your hand and sew it. Sewing with your hand is not difficult. Just use permanent stitches. I was using hand before I started using needle. Oh, sorry. I was using hand needle before I started using sewing machine. Okay. In gummy method, we don't need sewing. We don't need you don't even need machine. You can just use your hand. This is the only part we are going to sew. Yes, and of course the lining as well. To line you are going to use inside. Okay, but you can use your hand and use permanent stitches. You just achieve it. So we are going to sew. This is the extra. Don't forget, this is the allowance. This is the allowance. Allowance runs from here down here. So I'm going to sew this side. Okay, I'll take it to my sewing machine. I'll run it down. When I'm done, I'll turn. Okay, and then I'll show you how to attach, how to cut what, either you're using fiber board or you're using a, what's it called, or Mako. So I'll show you how to attach. So it's going to come like this, even without even attaching, because of the type of fabric I'm using, and I also use a collar stay. I might not even, I might end up not putting anything inside, and yet the cap will stand. You do get me? Because of the nature of my fabric. My fabric is thick, and also too. So, but I need it to be strong, because so that it will last long for my clients. It will last long for my clients. Okay, so I'm going to use Mako. I'm going to use Mako. Is that taken? I'll be using Mako board. So, how do I achieve this? How do I cut? We'll be right back. Okay, welcome back to my class. My name still remains Nena, with the brand name Nani Minineri. I want to show us how to cut the Mako. Where's my scissors? I need my scissors. Excuse me. Okay, welcome back, everyone. My name is Nena Alice. Hello. I'm a Nigerian. Okay. With the brand name Nani Minineri. Welcome back to my class. Now we continue how to cut your Mako, or how to measure and cut your fiber board. So it's the same way, the same method. Please, let's be fast. No time. I just like to break it to the barest stage, so that for actually this class is for beginners, right? Okay. So this is what we call fiber Mako board. You get this Mako board from those that sell shoe making materials. Okay, Mako board, gum. I will show us our gum. I will state everything. Let me continue first because of time. You get this from shoe making materials. Now, how am I going to cut? See how we are going to cut. Okay. See how we are going to cut. My client's head is 24 inches, right? This is just a sample anyway. Let me straighten the mouth, because the mouth is, the Mako is not straightened. The tip is not straight. Still the same thing. I ought to use ruler, please. When you're doing yours, use ruler and draw, so that don't cut using freehand sketch. Make use of ruler, please. Now, see what we're going to do. My client head is 24, right? Can you see what I'm doing? Okay. This is 24, right? This is 24 inches. This is 24 inches. This is 24 inches. But I'm not going to stop here. I need allowance. Why do I need allowance for this? For this Mako. Let me state the reason why you need allowance. I'm going to join it together to form a circle. That is this Mako. So for me to join it together, I need allowance to that I'll use for joining. Okay, just like you want to sew a cloth, you want to join the clothes together. For example, I want to sew this cloth. I'm joining it to this, the arm to the main body. I will need allowance whereby I will sew apart from the main measurement. The same thing applies to this. Now I'll leave 1 inch. I like putting 1 inch instead of half, so that there won't be any mistake. Okay, it's better for you, for your clients to have a bit extra space than for you to be tightly, or to be tight on his or her head. Is that taken? So I've gotten the width. How am I going to get the length? The length. See how I'm going to get it. Now for this, remember the height of the client cap. Remember the heights. If you have forgotten, go back to your support at the back. That's what you added to the back, either your collar stay or listen. I use 3.5 for this, so that I'm not getting the main this in here. I use 3.5 for this. Okay, I use 3.5 for this. Now for 3.5, but I'm going to add small. Maybe I add 3.5 plus extra 0.2 inch. You know the reason why? Because when I turn the cap after putting my marco, I always like, for me, you can try to make it your own exact. That's let your own be exact 3.5. Now you see this small tip, small extra space that is here after the beading. Can you see it? It's my hand. I always like my my cap to always have this little space, both at the bottom and at the beginning. You start taking. So that's the essence of that 0.2. So instead of 3.5, I'm going to leave 3.5.2. That's 3.5. Sorry for that, please. You can leave it at 3.5 if you want, or you can add extra 0.2 inch to it, or you can add extra 0.1 inch. I've told you the reason why. So continue. Take your ruler. I'm using board. I usually use my stone board, but please, you should get your ruler, or you have any object that is straight, you can use it. You see what I've got. So always rule and draw, so that when you're cutting, you cut straight. Start taking. You don't need to make any mistake, so that you don't start having issue. So this is it, okay? So this is it. You start taking. Now I'm going to apply gum for that 1 inch. This is the 1 inch. Please, I didn't mark it. This is half. This is half. Yeah, I'm just using off head, but I know that is the main essence. So we're going to add gum, and we join them together. See the way I join. If you want to join like this, some join this way, fine for them. If you prefer joining this way, fine. Me, I prefer joining here because it makes it to be strong, well stronger. Excuse me, let me make sure they are equal. I think I'm having one side bigger than one side. Okay. I usually join this way. I usually join, that is by lapping each other. When I put gum, I put my gum, yeah, I put my gum this side. I like to dry for some minutes. When it's sticky, take it to the sunlight. That's how I usually do my own before I forget. When you apply gum, take it to the sunlight, or you put it close to a fire, okay? Not on the fire, close to the fire, okay? Then the gum becomes sticky. Check until when it becomes sticky. After some minutes, then you join together. When you join together, take your hammer and hit so that it will be flattened. Yes, I do that. I'm going to show us now how to do it. After putting my gum, see what I'm going to do. I'll take my hammer. I'm just trying to show us. I will heat it. Why am I doing that? Why am I doing that? So that this side will become flat. Okay, you have to join it together to make it flat so that it will not show. By the time you put it inside the cap, it won't show. Yes, if you don't flatten it, it's going to show. It's going to be obvious. Is that taken? Okay, so welcome back. This is my gum. We need gum. I actually make it of toothbrush. Now this toothbrush is to scoop the gum. Okay, anything you want to use, fine. Or you can use this paintbrush, the small one. Okay. Now, but I prefer making use of toothbrush. Now, see my own macro. I joined it together. Okay. Okay, I think you can see. Okay. Okay, everything is okay. Yeah. Now, this is the cutout macro. Let me show you how to join them together. Before you join, please take your measurements. I need 24, exact 24. This is 24. This is 24 inches. It stops here. 24 inches stops here, please. But I need to join them together. Okay, it's not going to be like this. So what am I going to do? You see this extra inches that's here? How many is it? Watch what I'm doing, please. How many is it? So I have 1.1. 1.1. Okay, I have 1.1. So I don't need it. I'm going to cut it off. What I need is just only one. What I need is just only one. That one is for joining together. Now joining the two macro ends together. I start taking. So what I need now is half. This is my half. Come here, also take half. We need half inch. We need half inch. This is half. Yes, so I need half. Now, you scoop your gum. You're gonna take your gum. Sometimes I put my gum in an object that has a tiny mouth. For example, this machine oil, okay, the container has a tiny mouth so that your gum will not waste. Is that taken? So see, I'm putting gum in the mouth. Likewise this side. Oh, sorry, wrong place. I'm going to put it up here. Okay, because this is how I'm going to allow it to be. I'm going to place it on top. Is that taken? So therefore it will not form circle. But if you join it together now, it's not going to hold it. So you need to allow it to dry off for some minutes. Okay, you take it to the sunlight, or you put it next to the fire. Okay, then to dry. So that's how I do it. So we'll be right back. Okay, now everybody welcome. So welcome back. Okay, so I've joined them together. There is for the top, for cupping. You see that I've not designed it. Sometimes you may end up, depends on what the client wants. So that I don't design. Okay, I just leave it plain this way. That is for the top. Sometimes I design. So I've not cut it, okay? So I'm going to show you how to cut it. So that's why I've not Okay, so see this, I'll be able to sew it together. Okay, so where's the top? This one is going to face up. Okay, let me use this side. Now see what I mean by the cap is going to enter inside. That's why we need extra allowance for the fabric. Okay, for this, the extra one allowance, so that it will, you know, just like when you are wearing clothes, your clothes, if your clothes is tight, it can't enter your, if the cloth is tight more than your body, you know, it won't enter your body. You understand? That is smaller than your body, it won't enter your body. But when the cloth is either a little bit free or is much, it will be able to enter the body. The same thing applies to this. So now you see, I've been able to wear it well. Okay. When you're adding the extra allowance, make sure it's not too much, so that it will not be too loose. Is that okay? So adjust it well while you put end allowance inside. Did you see what I meant by the extra allowance goes in? So adjust with your hand while you put in. Did you understand? So it's going to be like this. Did you see it now? Adjust with your hand so that as you do it. Now see this one we are having now. You see there's an extra at the back. I usually bead mine. I don't leave it like this. So before you put your gum, please, we are going to bead this place. We are going to bead. Okay, I'm going to cover this place with bead. Is that taken? I'm going to cover the side too with bead. So is that taken? So it's going to come like this. Now let me quickly do it before I continue the beading. Now for this, where's the top? This is the top. After you have put, of course I'm going to put gum. Listen, I'm going to put gum inside so that it's going to hold the allowances, both the top and the down. Okay, I will put gum so that it will hold the allowance. Now before, let me quickly do this first. Now I want to cut this, the cap. Of course, I'm not going to cut inward. I'm not going to put my pen inside and draw, no, because I need extra allowance for this. Yes, we need extra allowance for this. And so, I'm leaving up to 2 allowances. 2 inches allowance. Do you see my hands? So see what I'm going to, see what I'm doing. So adjust it well, please. I'm taking my time to do all this because of you are all beginners. It's not taking. If it's my advanced students, I don't need to go through all these processes. I don't need it at all because they are already familiar with this. So, did you get me? So, I have this in the back because I'm going to bead on top. Is that taken? Good. And also, I will need to do the top. I will also put a marco. I use fiberboard on top. Anyone you want. So, let's go back and bead the side. Okay, I will move the marco now. And when I'm done with the beading, I'll put it back. So, we'll be right back. Okay, hello everyone, good morning and welcome to my class. My name remains Nena Alice Carlo with the brand name Nelly Homes of Craft Excuse. Okay. Oh, sorry. Formerly Nelly Homes of Craft and Skills. Now, actually, I did a change of name. Okay. So now Nelly Minary. Okay, you can reach me on this number 00641485537. Now, we're on to the final stage. I want to show us how to make the cap. Oh, sorry, the top. Okay, which I do call capping. Now, I'm using a Marco. Now, you can either use a Marco board or you use a fiber board. Is that taken? Good. Now, you're going to, if you want to make the top, you're going to use the top. This is the top, okay? Now, see what I'm doing? I'm trying to adjust it well. You know, I want to form, we have different forms of capping. Different types of capping. We have the oval shape. Like if you want the cap to be in the form of an egg, you just do it this way. Okay. Then draw inside, not outside, please, so that it won't be excess. Draw inside and cut. Now, if you want it to be the cap, the top to be round, which that is what my client wants. So what I'm trying to do is to form a circle and adjust the cap very well. Sometimes, in case maybe if you did not adjust well, and after drawing, it didn't give you that circle shape. Now, so what I usually do, I'll take it off, then I'll get an object that is this size. Is that taken? Let me use my ruler. Let's see if it will not be excess, but I think it's a little bit much. So, you know, it has a circle shape. Mine is a little bit bigger. It's bigger than the cap, so I'm trying to see if I can reduce it. Okay. Good. So this is a circle shape. That's good. So that the circle will be, you know, will come out well. Now what I'm doing now is to cut out this thing. I'm not leaving allowance when it comes to capping. Whatever objects you're going to use, you don't need allowance. You don't need allowance. Okay, you don't put allowance. There you go. We have a very good taste. Okay. Now, the next thing we're going to do is let me tell you how to do this. Sometimes people just use what's it called? Put it directly, the fabric directly on it. Okay. Apply gum and put this in. Is that taken? Now, for me, I usually put foam because I always like the top to come up, okay? So give me that fine shape at the top. So I usually prefer first putting foam, light foam on it. I usually use a 1/2 inch. Is that taken? I make use of 1/2 inch. Now, I glue my 1/2 inch foam on top of my Marco. Or if I'm using fiber board, I showed us yesterday's class, what fiber board is. So I'm going to pour my gum. I'll show how to do this, and I'll show you my foam. Which side am I using? Let me put this away. Not much. We don't want it to be much. Too much. Just ensure that what's it called? Ensure that the gum or the glue goes round the sorry for that sound. Okay, the window is open, so you can hear the bird screaming. Now what I'm trying to do is to ensure that the gum goes round the cap. the gum goes around the cap. Okay. Now I'm going to leave it aside for a few seconds, a few minutes. Now you can either dry it using a room temperature, that's leaving it inside, leave it on the table here for some minutes, or you take it to the sun. I prefer taking it to the sun. Okay, you take it to the sun for it to dry a few minutes. I'll be right back. Okay, welcome everyone. Now, so I've gotten a foam, half-inch foam. So take my macro, adjust it very well. Now, I'm going to cut out the excess part, leaving just 1 inch. There's something you must know. Sometimes I do double the foam. Yeah, I do double this one. If I want the crown, that is the top, sorry, to come, yeah, the crown to come up very well. So I double the foam. Okay. What I'm trying to do is to ensure that it's glued properly to the foam. That is the marker board glued properly to the foam. Now the next stage is this. I'm also going to apply gum around this, the foam, because I'm going to put the fabric on top now. What I'm trying to do is to ensure that it does put a little bit that's round, not to pour everything, so that it's not going to stain the cloth, the fabric when I place it on top of the foam. Start again. So that's allowed to dry for a few minutes. Okay, welcome back. Now see what I'm going to do. I'm going to place my fabric on top. Just use your hand and hold down. So this is all we have. Let me trim this side. So this is what we have. You start taking? Now go back to the cap. We'll go back to the cap. This is the top, please. This is the top. Sorry, this is the top. Okay, this is the top. What I'm going to do now is to attach, to put this inside. Okay, puff it in. Now before we do that, we usually apply gum at the top. Put your gum inside. This is gumming method, like I said. The use of gum, please. The use of glue, whatever name you call it. Now apply your gum on it. Before we apply, because I usually apply gum too at the tip, so before I know, you have to measure where to place the gum. Sorry, know where to put the gum. So see what we usually do. Adjust it very well. I want the side to come to the front. Is that taken? And this is the front. If you watch very well, this is the front. While this is the back. The back has a line. Even though I covered with bead, that's how I make my own caps. Okay, I ensure that I bead to cover the distance. You remember how we did this? After we are done with sewing of joining of the fabric together, before we put the marco inside, I have to sew on top first. Is that taken? Before I now put the marco and gum. Now, what's the top? This is the front. This one is facing up, so therefore this is the top. So I'll put it this way, and I'll face it this way. You start taking. So careful so that it will go in at the same time, not one side going, one side coming out. Watch my hand. Ensure it goes in properly. The marco board ought to, you know, relax. It ought to relax on the listen. Remember, the fabric is thick, so you have to be very, very careful when you are doing this. It's going to come be like this. Can you see it? Where's the back? This is the front. I'm still gonna shift this. I was still going to shift this because this place ought to fit here directly. That is this side. It ought to fit to that side. I'll shift. Okay. Now break it out. Don't scatter it. Okay, let it just remain like this. So if I want to put my gum now, I'm going to put my gum here. Okay. Don't shift your hand forward because you may need this side when you're adjusting. So just put your gum there. Okay, now let's put our gum this side. Now you can get an object that has a tiny mouth. Okay, so that you pour your gum, or you put your gum in a plate, or just like, okay, so that it will not, so that your gum will not splash everywhere. Please don't try this method I'm doing. Don't. Because you may end up splashing your gum all over the cap, and which is not good. But never mind, when you have your gum splashed everywhere, what you just do is just to damp a piece of cloth in your foil. Okay, just take foil, damp it inside the foil or inside the kerosene, and you wipe off. Okay. Damp a piece of cloth inside a foil. Okay. Now I'm only putting the gum at the top and not the bottom place. Watch what I'm doing. This cap consumes a lot of gum. The use of gum method consumes a lot of this gum. Now, you see what I did there? Okay, round. That's only the top, please, not the bottom. Now, what you do now is we're going to take it to the sun. Okay, allow the sunlight to, you know, dry it a little bit. Let it not be more than let me use 3 minutes, please. 3 minutes. After 3 minutes, you come back again. You apply another gum second time, twice. Okay. You know why? You know why I do that? To make the cap firm. To make, by the time you place this one, it makes it to be firm. Okay, not later to remove. So I'm going to apply gum too at this tip. Please, what I'm going to do is take gum, apply around. Don't move up. Please, that's only the tip side. Okay, is that okay? So we'll be right back. Okay, everyone, welcome back. A little bit dry. So what I'm going to do now? Don't forget the front. Let me face the front towards me so that I won't make mistake when I'm adjusting it. Okay, now okay, now push from the middle. Careful so that this side won't stain the side. Okay, now push down. Push down. Now adjust everywhere. That's what I'm doing. Make sure the mark goes down. Okay. Carefully. Careful, please. I'm going to arrange it. Of course, it's not going to be like this. Arrange very well. Still push. Oof, be careful so that you don't come out. When you are using a thick material, especially when you are using ashoki, you just have to be very careful. Okay, so that you see what I'm trying to say. See, look at the comb now. Don't worry, I'm going to wipe off. We'll clean off. We'll clean off when when you have something like this. Just adjust well, please. Now, put your mark. The mark ought to go down so that for it to fit properly. So we'll continue. You adjust everything. When you know it has well adjusted, then you make sure the bottom and this one glue together. Okay, is that taken? So adjust and glue together so that this thing. I usually make use of pen knife. I'll be right back. Please, I usually make use of pen knife. Okay, but I can't find my pen knife, so I'm using this. Please don't use your kitchen knife. I beg you. Okay, so why I usually make use of knife is I use a flat sharp object. You can get a flat sharp object. I use it to adjust. I usually use it to adjust the top. You can see that one of my hands is inside. I'm using it to hold this thing together so that it will glue. When I adjust, I glue it. I join them together. Is that okay? This one is not well adjusted, so let me remove. Open. The front is well adjusted to my taste. Okay, if you still want it to come up, you still push under. Okay, it will come up. That was the reason why I said if you want it too high, there's a cap I sent to the group, to the class. Okay, I have that one is high, comes up because I doubled the foam. Okay, the foam was doubled rather. So, but this one is just a single foam. I don't want it to come up because that's what my client wants. Not too high, just this thing. So, continue to arrange you arrange the top. Okay. That's why you don't have, okay, sorry, no need of mentioning what I want to say now. No need of saying. Now, when you have gum stain, no problem, just make use of this thing. What's it called? Damp foil and wipe off. Okay, is that taken? you can air dry for the foil to stain smell to remove. Okay, is that okay? So that's all. Now the next stage is how to line. I have different method of lining. Okay, if you want the glass, it's available. I have different method of lining. Lining without using the potassium on the rest. Is that okay? So thank you once again. My name is Nene Alice Kabe with the brand name Nene Meneneri. God bless you.